The internet loves a comeback story, especially when it involves a creator who once seemed untouchable. Ninja's Twitch drama could have ended his career, but instead it became the beginning of a new chapter. So what did he do to rebuild his brand and win back the audience? In the world of online gaming, few names have loomed as large as Tyler "Ninja" Blevins. With his shock of electric blue hair and lightning-fast reflexes, he became the face of a new era of entertainment, one driven by Twitch streams, Fortnite battles, and internet fame measured in millions of followers. But behind the highlight reels and sponsored deals was a story that mirrored the volatility of digital stardom itself: unforeseen backlash, shifting platforms, and the pressure to stay relevant in a world that both loves and devours its own heroes. Ninja's rise to fame was meteoric. Like many early streamers, he began his career playing games such as Halo long before the gaming world would be consumed by the Battle Royale craze. His big break came when Fortnite exploded into mainstream popularity, turning streamers into household names and creating a generation of global gaming icons. Ninja's charismatic personality, combined with incredible gameplay, drew millions of viewers to Twitch, making him one of the most followed and highest-earning content creators on the platform. By 2019, Ninja was more than just a gamer, he was a brand. Merchandise, sponsorships, and appearances on mainstream media defined him as a pioneer who helped shape what it meant to be an influencer in the video game era. Yet with unprecedented success came unprecedented scrutiny. And the biggest moment of tension in his career, the controversy around his departure from Twitch, was a turning point that forced him to reimagine not just where he streamed, but who he was as a creator. In August 2019, Ninja announced he was leaving Twitch, the platform where he had built his fame, to sign an exclusive deal with Microsoft's streaming platform Mixer. This move sent shockwaves through the gaming community, and not just because it was a surprise. Ninja had been synonymous with Twitch, and his departure was widely seen as a symbolic blow to the platform's dominance. The reasons he gave for the move were personal and professional. Ninja said he wanted to reconnect with the joy of streaming, get closer to his roots, and pursue opportunities that Twitch's contractual limitations wouldn't allow. But underneath those official statements was a larger truth: the internet audience had grown louder and more critical, and streaming had started to feel less like a passion and more like a battleground. Leaving Twitch was both a strategic move and a symbolic rebirth. The initial reaction was mixed. Fans showed excitement, with Ninja gaining 1 million subscribers on Mixer in just 5 days, proving that his audience was still deeply committed to him. But many criticized the decision, saying it felt like abandoning the platform that made him, in favor of a smaller service with less visibility. Then came one of the most bizarre twists in the saga. After his departure, users visiting Ninja's old Twitch channel began seeing adult content recommended on his page, a result of Twitch's algorithmically suggested streams. The situation quickly escalated into what many saw as disrespectful to Ninja's family-friendly image, causing public frustration and a flurry of online commentary. Twitch ultimately apologized and resolved the situation, but the incident added a surreal layer to the controversy. These events marked a stark moment of reckoning. Ninja had traded the largest streaming stage for a growing competitor, and in doing so, exposed the fragility of digital fame. He was no longer simply the face of Fortnite or Twitch. He was now a public figure grappling with how to define himself outside of the platform that once symbolized his success. The transition to Mixer was both a creative reset and a gamble. Unlike Twitch, where his presence was entrenched and expectations were high, Mixer offered a blank slate, a chance to experiment with different formats, expand his reach, and cultivate a community on new terms. Yet for all the early enthusiasm, the reality was more complicated. Mixer itself struggled to compete with Twitch's entrenched market share, and by mid-2020, the platform shut down entirely. This closure forced Ninja to return to familiar territory and once again adapt. In September 2020, he signed a multi-year exclusive deal to return to Twitch. The comeback didn't erase the past, but it marked another phase in his reinvention. Ninja was a creator who had left, evolved, and come back on his own terms. But the rebranding wasn't just about flipping platforms, it was about perception. For years, fans had lionized Ninja as the unstoppable Fortnite juggernaut. Yet the reality was more human. Like anyone else, his popularity waxed and waned with changing trends and new competitors. In recent interviews, Ninja himself acknowledged the challenges of staying at the top amid internet trolling, fluctuating viewership, and the perception that he was no longer as big as he once was. He described the last couple of years as rough, not because he lost relevance, but because expectations around him remained so impossibly high. This introspection became part of the rebranding message. Instead of leaning into nostalgia for past peak numbers, Ninja began to emphasize community, longevity, and purpose. He started hosting charity streams, including a well-publicized 24-hour marathon aimed at raising funds for skin cancer detection and prevention. His willingness to tie streams to cause-driven initiatives highlighted a shift from spectacle to impact, a subtle but powerful reframing of his public identity from pure entertainer to creator with purpose. Another aspect of his rebranding involved fan relationships and online feuds. In 2024, Ninja publicly apologized to fellow creator Stable Ronaldo for a controversial comment he made during a stream, a moment once framed by critics as evidence of arrogance or elitism. Instead of defending his past words or ignoring the uproar, Ninja chose reconciliation, admitting fault and acknowledging the impact of his remark. This was widely praised as an example of maturity and community leadership, a far cry from the combative persona some fans once associated with him. Even his visual identity went through changes. In 2022, Ninja unveiled a refreshed logo and branding style, a modern, minimalist design intended to reflect his growth as a creator beyond gaming content. Though reactions were mixed, the move illustrated his commitment to evolving the brand itself, not just his content. Rebranding always carries risk, especially when an audience is deeply attached to a familiar image, but Ninja demonstrated a willingness to embrace change in pursuit of longevity. In the wake of these shifts, Ninja also diversified the games and content he streamed. Rather than remaining tethered exclusively to Fortnite, he experimented with a broader range of titles and formats, from collaborative multiplayer sessions to IRL, in real-life streams, and interactive viewer events. This diversification helped redefine him not just as a Fortnite streamer, but as a multi-dimensional content creator capable of evolving with the platform's ever-changing landscape. Perhaps most importantly, Ninja began to speak openly about the emotional toll of internet fame. For someone whose early journey was defined by breakneck growth and record-breaking audience numbers, facing criticism or declining figures wasn't easy. By acknowledging these struggles publicly, including how online trolls zeroed in on his viewership, he made his persona more relatable, less distant, and more grounded in human experience rather than celebrity mystique. This journey from platform controversy to personal reflection illustrates a larger truth about modern digital brands. They aren't static, they evolve. Ninja's rebranding wasn't a single moment of crisis management. It was a process, a series of decisions that acknowledged both his vulnerabilities and his aspirations. He embraced platform changes, diversified his content, engaged in philanthropy, reconciled past mistakes, and redefined his values in a way that resonates with audiences who crave authenticity as much as entertainment. Today, Ninja remains a dominant figure in gaming culture, with multi-platform presence, millions of followers across channels, and a legacy that extends beyond Twitch. There was a time when staying relevant meant commanding the most concurrent viewers on a single platform. Now it means building a sustainable identity that adapts to change, builds community, and communicates purpose. In that sense, Ninja's story is far bigger than any Twitch drama. It's the story of what happens when someone outgrows the platform that made them, confronts adversity, and finds ways to reinvent themselves without losing the core essence of who they are. He may have left Twitch, come back, faced criticism, and shifted platforms, but through it all, Ninja rebranded his image not by denying controversy, but by accepting change as a part of growth. And for anyone watching his journey unfold, that might just be the most powerful transformation of all. If you want more stories like this, hit subscribe and stay tuned.